this infected blood scandal, okay, is the elephant in the room here in Australia, because all the media will talk about what happened in the UK and they'll talk about how it happened all around the world, but they'll never talk about how it happened here in Australia. And the reason for that, would you like to know the reason? The reason is because of a $140 billion. You see, the Australian government, the Labor Australian government, corruptly privatised one of the main culprits. One of these companies, it was an Australian company that made these distilled blood products that we just heard about, this factor 8 blood treatment that was used by haemophiliacs throughout Asia. Okay, Australian blood products were used in Australia and exported, these factor 8 blood products. And this company, CSL, which was privatised by the Australian government in 1994 so it could get away with what it had done, it exported death all throughout Asia, okay, and throughout Polynesia and to Hong Kong, all right? And there's even suggestion that it may have exported to Europe and that people in the UK may have even been infected with Hep C because of contaminated blood. Now, these British campaigners, we wish them the very best. They're good friends of ours. We want justice for everyone that's infected and affected. This article talks about the haemophiliacs, people with that bleeding disorder who are infected, but it doesn't mention the fact that there are also, of course, many people who receive blood transfusions involved. And they've been receiving financial assistance in the UK, people infected with viruses from blood transfusions for decades. But there's been no financial assistance for the tens of thousands of Australians who are infected with tainted blood transfusions, ending up with deadly viruses like Hep C, which has led to liver cirrhosis and cancer. We've also got people, survivors in our group, who got HIV in the 1980s from blood, and in some cases it was blood that wasn't even meant for them. It was wrongly injected into them and they received no help and no answers whatsoever. Now, this article speaks about this crisis happening in the 1970s and 80s. No, that's not actually correct. Contaminated blood went beyond that, and in fact here in Australia it was bad right up until 1999 with the advent of what was called nucleic acid testing, okay, which was the gold standard. That has made things safer, although worryingly, because the Australian Red Cross Lifeblood are engaged in the cover-up, they're not telling us the truth about the fact that the blood supply could very well still be contaminated today. And we have a very credible man, a really nice man who's come forward, and he's told us that he was infected with a blood transfusion. Okay, he developed hepatitis C in 2018 for a blood transfusion and now has liver cirrhosis. So this article goes into the scale of what happened and the fact that there could be criminal repercussions. What on earth's going to happen here in Australia? You've got Australia's Health Minister, Mark Butler, who's refusing to even speak up about this in Parliament, speak up about the fact that Australia was involved, okay, and that the exact same thing that happened in the UK happened in Australia. And it's good to see these British campaigners like Jason Evans being quoted here. I just want to say something about these British campaigners, though. We've put this young man, Jason Evans, in our media, and he's yet to speak of how the scandal stretched out here to Australia. And that's very disappointing because we have haemophiliacs and people doing it tough here. They don't get financial assistance, unlike British victims. They don't get any of the press. So we gave this young man press. We've got people, haemophiliacs in Australia. He knows that. They've got cirrhosis, they've got cancer. And so far, he hasn't even said a word. So we hope that changes, Jason Evans. We hope that changes for all of these British campaigners, some of whom Jason Evans is not. He very tragically lost his father. But some of these other campaigners are on very significant financial assistance, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And we've put them in our press, and they haven't said one word about what's happened in their press, about the scandal having affected Australians. And, you know, we've had a gutful of this. We want Australians to be cared for just as other people around the world that were infected by this scandal were. Why is it that Australians always come last, hey, to the world's media or even to our own politicians? It's a bloody disgrace.